All right. Okay. So welcome Ariel and Timo. So if you guys could just start by telling us your names and a little bit about your background and your family and just who you were before Blue Ranch Farms.
Take it away.
All right. Well, my name is Timo Valencia, and prior to Blue Ranch Farms, we lived in Oregon. I'm originally, I was raised in Las Vegas. I moved to Oregon September 1st, 2012, and I met Ariel in 2013, and we've been together basically since. And we just wanted something different in Oregon. We have family in Oregon. I have family in Las Vegas, but we just always thought about having land, and this opportunity came to us really by meeting you guys, and here we are.
And did you tell us how many kids you have?
We have 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl,
How-
Theodore and Lena.
And how old are they?
Theodore is 4, and Lena turns 3 the 1st of October, so right around the corner.
Yay. All right. So had you ever farmed before?
No.
Never.
Either one of you?
Nope.
No.
We have some backyard chickens,
Yeah.
but that's about as close as we've gotten.
And my grandfather on my mom's side had a strawberry farm in Mexico, one of the biggest strawberry farms, probably the biggest strawberry farms in Mexico. And I remember growing up as a kid, being down at the farm with my tons of cousins, but never actually had a farm ourselves, just basically from my grandpa. So
Then what made you want to sell everything and pack up your life in Oregon and say goodbye to friends and family and move to Texas and do an internship?
Well, God says life is but a vapor, so, we felt a calling. We felt restless in the life that we had, just kind of doing the same mundane things, and we felt that it would be such a great opportunity to really put our hands in the soil and really learn about His creation and instill good work ethic in our kids, and just learn to humble ourselves, and so many reasons why we felt God was calling us here.
to really work hard and to really be dependent on His provision for our lives, and to be able to work hand in hand with our kids, giving us a completely different lifestyle, giving us a completely, like you said, a change of lives, just giving up everything and really relying on what He has planned for us. Because again, we never visited Texas before, and our first time visiting is to live.
Right.
So it was a huge leap of faith, but everything just fell into place, from just being able to get everything situated, everything organized, was just awesome, and it just fell into place.
It would have to. We took an entire house and packed it, downsized into an RV.
Like
with
Yeah.
2 kids.
if you really think about it, the opportunity came, like we talked beginning of March-ish. You got back to us in April,
Mhm.
and we were here by the 29th of June. Like, we were able to sell everything that we had, get a truck and a trailer, find someone to replace our house that we were living in, and just everything. It's crazy. I could barely organize a family dinner. So the way the Lord really let the chips fall where they were supposed to just was, again, way out of our control.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now you've been here for a whole 2.5 months. We celebrated your 2-month victory mark on September 1st, and now we're cruising towards October 1st. So the next question that we have for you is, what is different than what you had expected? For the good or the bad?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know Texas was going to be this beautiful, to be honest. I had no idea. I thought it was going to be more desert. Just not at all what I thought. And it's beautiful. I mean, sure, we got in here just for the drought, which was, I guess, a pretty bad drought. But now that everything's turning green again, and even when we got here, things were green still. But the sky here is just breathtaking. You know, the sky just looks so much bigger. The clouds just look unreal. The sunsets are beautiful. So I didn't know what to expect, and it's still surreal that we're here. You know, it's still weird. Like she said it today. Like, I can't believe we're in Texas. You know, like, it's just crazy.
And I don't know. It's not a bad thing, but I guess like you just kind of have to learn the mindset of a farmer and what it really takes to take care of not just your own things, but animals and land, and there's a lot to it, and balancing your personal life and farm life, it kind of molds into one. So it was a transition. It's not like that magical collect your eggs in the morning and bake bread all day kind of lifestyle, which I don't know if I was expecting that, but it really like humbles you, and it makes you appreciate the hard work that you're putting in, because you get to see the outcome. It's not instant gratification sometimes, but to see the long-term ramifications of your work is one of my favorite parts, I think.
Yeah, it's a really it definitely develops your patience, and like how she was saying, not only do you appreciate the hard work that you're putting, but you appreciate all the little perks that you get when living in the city. You realize how much of that stuff you take for granted, but working for what you're doing and seeing the reaping the benefits of it is just so much more rewarding. You know, to be able to say, man, I planted this seed in this field and look how beautiful it's turning. You know, to be able to just learn about the animals, to be able to just really what I enjoy is to be able to enjoy the sleep at night, you know, even though sometimes you still wake up tired, to actually when you hit the bed and you're like, man, I feel like I deserve this rest, you know. It feels good to be that tired at night, because you know
you've earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So Ariel, you touched on something, and I'd love to hear your guys' definition of it, but you said the mindset of a farmer. Can you give us your definition of what that is?
I think it's just learning that your time and the time you put out doing work has value to it, and when you're not spending that time, then there's consequences to that sometimes. So like, it's not just a job where you have a list of tasks that are the same every day and you just check them off your list. It's really observing and seeing every day if things need to change, whether it be food or medicine or water, and just learning to be observant. And really, we started feeling like we always needed to be out doing something. Puppy takeover.
They're taking over the interview.
So I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to explain. You just kind of feel a shift from a normal job, everyday city life, to going through a list in your head of things that should be done now that affect next week.
Perfect. Yeah, to me, one thing that Dean said actually that really still sticks to me is figuring it out. Um, like, again, you can have something planned and then a complete left field thing happens and you just have to figure it out. And knowing that it really isn't like you punch in, you punch out, but more of a lifestyle that it really is continuous. You know, there's really no no end to the things that you could be learning here, the things that you could be doing, the things that you could be testing to observe, and the experiments that you can do, you know, like to, whether it's the soil, whether it's creating a corral for the animals when they're sick, or learning how to rotate, you know, because again, this is all completely new, especially the regenerative aspect of it. It's just really just grinding and figuring it out. If there's an issue, you figure it out. And yeah, something that Dean said that really stuck with me.
That's good. You have both touched on this already and kind of already answered this question, but I'm still gonna ask this to you because you might have something new that you want to add in there. But what has been your biggest adjustment from your old life to your new life? What's been the biggest adjustment for you?
Well, I have two. One big change is probably being far from my family. But thankfully, with technology now, we can still stay in great contact, so that's helped. But the second one is probably having kids and getting them adjusted when they've lived a few years in a certain lifestyle. Like, they weren't born into this farming lifestyle, so they had to make an adjustment too, and finding the balance between us learning and still being there for the kids and their adjustment, and figuring out what they need. But it's been so cool to see them grow and really like kind of take on this lifestyle so well, and run around the farm, and they love checking on the animals and letting us know if they notice something. So it's just been really cool to watch that develop. But those are probably that were the most challenging in the beginning.
Yeah, I would say that as well, kind of with the children. I left my family, I left home in Las Vegas to go to Oregon, so I had a little bit of that experience already, which I think she did great, and I think we still all got homesick around the third, fourth week. But yeah, readjusting to this lifestyle, you know, I thought it's almost insulting now, hindsight, saying that I was tired at the job that I had before, you know, but adjusting to the long, sometimes, you know, like, and that's the beauty of being on a farm. Some days, some projects are a lot lighter, sometimes they're strenuous, so just adjusting really to the heat. Again, readjusting. Again, growing up in Vegas, I was used to the heat, but I definitely had to readjust to the humidity with the heat. So that took some readjustment for me, but it got to a point where, like, this is the card that I'm dealing with, so there's nothing I can do, and complaining is not going to make it cooler, you know.
Okay, so this is a fun question here. What is the most impacting skill that you've learned so far?
The skid steer and fencing, I guess, two. And it's funny because at first I didn't like fencing at all. Now it's one of my favorite things to do. Putting up different perimeters, I think because I've butchered so many fences, or not butchered them, but like I've definitely learned through error that I think I have it pretty much down, and then also operating the skid steer, which used to overwhelm me and kind of got me nervous because I was never really used to that type of equipment before, and just the safety and everything, and then the tractor. So I think just operating heavy machinery and being able to put up perimeters has been an awesome skill set that I even just like. It's funny, like I think about going home, or if we were to go back to Oregon, it's just like, hey, do you guys want a fence built or something? Because I can build you a nice fence, you know. So just I really enjoy fencing now. So
and driving the farm equipment.
yes.
Does it make you feel like you could do almost anything now?
Yes, I'm still very, I think I learned slow because I kind of tend to be a perfectionist. So when I want to learn something, I kind of learn it slow so I can get it down really well. But I've been growing in my confidence in it, getting more comfortable, and I think being more effective in using that equipment. So yeah, it's awesome to be able to use all that equipment.
What about you?
I think that fencing is one for me too, just because I would have no idea. If you gave me the supplies when we first got here and said build a fence, I would have no idea where to start.
It's an art.
So
It
that's
really
definitely
is.
impactful because I just didn't know anything about that. I also like learning about the soil. That's been really interesting to me, learning about the microbiomes and the different kinds of grasses and plants and cover crops, and how everything really starts with the soil, and that's been one of my favorite parts to learn. So I'm excited to learn more about that and to see, you know, as the year goes on, the seasons change, how many more things we can learn about that.
That was awesome too,
because that's something you can
learned,
take anywhere.
There were some points where we had like the classroom setting that Dean said things to me to us that really got me emotional. It's like the way that society and everything is drilled, like milk is bad for you, be a vegetarian, like
red meat's bad.
Yeah, like, and from what Dean is like, it literally made me emotional. Like, man, we've been lied to, you know. And it's incredible to learn how, again, the way God designed things for them to work together with us, you know. So
They have all this space and
I
they
know.
choose right here to
That's
start
so
wrestling. That's so funny. That's awesome, Timo.
yeah,
And Toby ended it with a bang.
Very-
Boom.
very eye-opening information
Yes.
here.
Yeah, we learn something new every day. That's probably one of my favorite. Another
Yeah,
one of my
there's-
favorite
yeah,
things.
there's-
There's
I
a lot
don't
of
think there's
favorites.
been one day that we're not like, oh, even if it's learning how not to do something, we're still learning, you know, like.
Yeah, learning through our mistakes.
So, what's your favorite part of the day?
I really like doing chores and just like waking up in the morning, seeing everyone, checking on them, seeing how they're doing. I actually really enjoy doing the chores that we do every day, but it's never the same. Yeah.
Man, it kind of varies sometimes. Sometimes it's just getting the project of the day done, like knowing that, like, yes, like we did that, that's done. You know, sometimes it's just relax, doing even stuff like this when we get to fellowship with you guys, when we get to, you know, just talk and hang out, crack jokes. So that's always fun to me, and learning more with the other people here, you know. So
So you guys touched on this a little bit about how you were really homesick around week 3 or week 4, somewhere in there. And we just heard a confession from you guys that you were thinking about packing up and taking off. So what made you think maybe this wasn't the right thing? What made you stay? Walk us through that. What happened for you guys there?
I think we just got hit with the reality that we were here and it was completely different, you know, and it wasn't like, it was exactly what we had asked for, but we didn't know that it was going to hit us the way it did, because we were tired of being complacent, we were tired of being stagnant, and when we got hit with the heat, we got away from family, we got the kids, you know, acting out, adjusting, and we're like, maybe this is just not it. And then I think really it was when, I think what it really was, there was 2 days when we were building the training pen, and that ground was so hard that day, though it was a Thursday and Friday, I'll never forget those 2 days. It was just rough. We couldn't crack the ground. We couldn't do anything, and it was just, I'm like, how is this?
It was 104 out.
Yeah, it was impossible. And we're like, maybe we made a mistake, you know, like maybe we didn't want to do this, and we really sat down and talked about it, prayed about it, and we refocused our mind on the Lord, on how He got us here, like effortlessly. We are readjusted on the fact that God is good, and we realized that this is what we wanted, and we're not just gonna walk away and give up and quit in the face of adversity, because not only that's not what we're about, but that would be a horrible example to set for our kids, you know, because, oh, you know, they only lasted 3 weeks, and we were like, you know, maybe they could just keep the first month's pay and we could just take out, like, you know what, it was nice, but no, like it and I think after we really sat down, prayed about it, readjusted our mind on the Lord, and it just flipped, like. And I mean, that's not to say we've still had long days and hard days, but the combination of the homesickness, you know, like I didn't realize how much I was gonna miss Oregon either, you know, and it makes sense because when I moved to Oregon from Las Vegas, it was around the 3rd and 4th week that the homesickness hit me, you know. So I'm glad we toughed it out, and we're like, yeah, like that would have been so, I feel like it would have been a slap in the face to you guys. You guys took a huge chance on us, Jason and Tiffany also, you know, the investment that you guys are making in us would just be insulting for us. Yeah, we, you know, we're not gonna cut it here, you know. Which I think you guys would have appreciated, the forefront of like, hey, you know, it's not gonna work out, you know, we'd rather just cut our losses here, but nah.
I think one thing that really helped me stay, and I don't think I realized till I was here, is we really had this, I don't know how else to put it, but back in Oregon, we really had built this spirit of laziness that we didn't even know was in us. And not like we want to sit on the couch and watch TV all day, but like when we first got here, we didn't have that farmer's mindset, and they were long days, and we just didn't really know if we could get there. And then, you know, God kind of spoke to me and was just like, hey, I'm trying to build your character here. I'm trying to make you a stronger person, and sometimes it's gonna be hard, and you just gotta push past that and trust me. And so I wasn't sure if we were gonna get there, and I'm not saying we're farmers and we have that mindset 100%, but it does feel like it's happening gradually, and it's getting there, and it feels more normal. And
we're already about to hit 3 months. It's like crazy to even think about that. Like,
now imagining only being here for a year.
Yeah, it's
doesn't seem like we can learn as much as we want to.
The time goes by quick. Like, we're already Wednesday. Like, we're already the 21st of September. Like, it just, before we know it, the full year will hit, you know. And yeah, it would have been pitiful to just leave just because we got exactly what we wanted.
Yeah. I know. And you make those excuses. Maybe God just wanted to show us we weren't meant to be farmers.
Yeah,
you know, that was like a
just start like
that was like
really,
something we said.
yeah,
like,
oh,
no,
maybe
he wouldn't.
yeah, you know,
He
like
wouldn't
just
do
trying
all
to talk
this.
ourselves into him, like no, but we really just sat down, prayed, read about it, read scripture, and really it was through reading and readjusting our mind on the Lord and knowing that He's good and that He got us here for a reason.
I don't know what shows up on camera, but we laugh because we get little visitors and sometimes they're chewing on our
The
shoes.
piglets are eating his shoe.
We have cute little piglets now. So,
Yeah.
well, I know that you guys have, since you've been married, I mean, and things that you've shared with us, since you've been married, since you have kids and have your own family, that you've had goals for yourselves and for your family and for your marriage and for your kids. But have any of those changed in the last 2.5 months? Do you have any new goals? Have any old goals been adapted?
I feel like we're in a season of growth and we don't really know what the future holds for us.
Yeah.
To be honest.
We have all these self aspirations, but we really don't know. You know, we don't know what the Lord's going to reveal at the end of this year. You know, we do want another kid. You know, we're torn on many different ways of like, if we go back to Oregon after a year, do we stay here? You know, like the benefits of both. You know, like we don't just want to be here a year and then more stuff develops here and we don't get to see it, you know. And you know, like I feel like how she said, we're like in this workshop of character building, you know. And we don't know.
Okay, well, let's take a turn for the lighthearted. What's the funniest thing that's happened since you've been here?
What is the funniest thing?
I think it's not like a one-time thing, but you know, we've said that we learn through our mistakes, right? And so it just now makes me laugh that we'll start on a new project, everything's going great, like our fence out there.
Oh my goodness.